Hello, people. It's Wednesday, January 4th, and this just so happens to be the day that the Earth is as close to the sun as it gets during its rotation. Little trivia. Apparently, it changes by about 4 hours each year, but leap year kind of makes it bounce around a little. So, those of you watching this, give it a like if you enjoy this, and for more. There's some better, more well thought out videos. This is primarily for the purpose of Q&A, answering questions. This week, the extra bit will be about water safety, knowing what you're drinking, where it came from, and how to make sure you don't get a bug or maybe drink something toxic. Apparently, there's a lot of scuttlebutt going about in expat community, almost all of which is centered around, oh my God, there's bugs in the water, as in bacteria and protozoan. This is silly because anywhere in the world outside of some Western nations, you should assume that there is stuff like that in the water and boil it before you drink it. And there's no need, if that's the only concern is microbes, there's no need to buy bottled water. You can simply boil it to kill anything in it. It's very easy. As long as you bring the water to a boil, it will suffice. It'll do the job. You can run it through a coffee maker, same thing. Most books say to boil your water for 1 solid minute. That's just to make sure you really boil it. Now, yeah, I have to take wilderness first aid and emergency responder courses every 2 years, so I get a lot of training on these things. That said, there's also a lot of noise about arsenic levels. Yes, there is arsenic present and testable in Lake Atitlan, but no one seems to mind to eat the fish out of Lake Atitlan. So it makes me kind of laugh a little bit when they scoff at drinking the water. It's kind of silly. And moreover, the bottled water here, from what I can find, is coming out of wells. And the wells are where the arsenic is found. Supposedly one of them is tested, but there's no certification of labeling on the actual water bottling entities. So you're taking their word. Like one of them, they'll show you their well and they'll show you some results of testing. But, you know, hey, I'm pretty good with Word and word processors. I can mock something up like that. I'm not trying to tell you that they're bad. I'm just saying generally speaking, it appears that the tap water at Panajachel is for more surface water up on the mountain off the springs, artesian springs, which is not tainted with arsenic, as best I can tell. I do, in the description of this video, there are multiple sources. I got the most reliable ones and ones that are on the subject listed first, so you can check them out and do your own research. There is a lot of other questionable sources on the web, but it seems like a lot of those are written without citation of any sources and just repeating scuttlebutt they heard amongst the expats around the lake. So I would take that with a huge grain of salt, or in my personal case, ignore it completely. Now, that said, there are wells in Panajachel, private wells, that have very high levels of arsenic. They have been tested. The first source listed in the description will go into detail about that. So the question is, when you're renting an apartment or hotel room where you have some cooking facilities, what is their water source? If their water source is the public water, you'll be safe if you boil it. Their water source is a private well, maybe you don't want to drink or cook that. I can't tell you how many people are connected or not connected. I do know in other places I wander in Ecuador, it's pretty ubiquitous that in most cities, everybody's connected to the municipal water. And because there's no water pressure during and immediately following big festivals while everybody's getting their showers to drive back home. And with that in mind, I know that my apartment uses city water because there was a major drop in water pressure for New Year's. So kind of trivial, but hey, that's the way these things are. So buyer beware, use common sense, but there's no need to buy bottled water unless there's toxic elements and things you can't remove from the water. If it's just biological concerns, boiling the water will get the job done. There is a concern about fecal matter getting into the lake. Some of the towns around Lake Atitlan, there's quite a few small ones, they're straight piping sewage apparently. Some, including Panajachel, have wastewater treatment. Now, whether or not it gets overwhelmed during flood events, I don't know, but that's not uncommon even in the United States. But from what I've been reading and studying, Lake Atitlan is a very deep lake. It's over 300 meters deep, but apparently there's only life in the shallows, the first 100 to 200 feet of water. Below that, the lake is very deep. It's a dead zone because there's not enough oxygen to support life. This is largely due to the fecal matter that's gone into the lake and is using up kind of monopolizing the oxygen. So that is a concern, and that's something that people that care about water quality or the environment could do something about, or maybe you make your own mind up if you want to be a tourist to such places and make the situation worse or not. It's kind of up to you. I'm not sure how much one person's decision on that would matter, but it's something to think about and be aware of. That said, this is going to be my last week in Guatemala. So next week, which will be January 11th, I will try to do a live stream. It might not be possible, but I'm going to try. I do intend to do some short videos and try to upload them while I'm in transit. And it's very likely I will give you a nod, yay or nay, if I can make it at that point. So leaving that out there for you to let you know. And out there. Now to kind of hit the major topics unless someone's got a question. And if you do have questions and I missed you or you missed me, then just leave them in the comments and I'll try to add them to a future upcoming video. Did a recent video yesterday about the process of catching a bus, using a chicken bus to get to Guatemala City, and a little bit of info about reverse trip from Guatemala City to Panajachel, thus Lake Atitlan. Once you get to Panajachel, you can catch the water taxi to any of the other towns or a taxi to a few of them that are nearby. And I'll do a little bit of follow up on that after my trip to the airport. And also coming up, but not yet announced till now, when I arrive to my destination in Ecuador, I will do a video about the process I use to get from the airport to my final destination. I will cover how you can get to the bus terminals within Quito, from which you can go anywhere in Quito. You can do it very cheaply. For instance, if you catch a taxi from the airport to Otavalo, it will cost you $70 unless inflation's bumped it up even more. And last I knew, it was $35 to catch a taxi to Quito, but that very well may have gone up. I usually skip Quito nowadays and go to other places. Other than I will use buses, and you can get to the bus for $2. You can get from the airport to the northern bus terminal. And from there, you can easily get a shuttle. I think they run every 20 minutes or 30 minutes. I don't recall. I have actually been there and waited on one, and you don't wait long. And then you ride a shuttle across Quito, which is a pretty long ride, or so it feels. I did on Easter Sunday when it was really busy last, so that one did take a while. And then you can get to the southern terminal, and from there you go all sorts of points south, Cuenca, uh, Banos, Riobamba, Loja, all sorts of places. You might want to break up some of those trips, make them a little less long, and maybe enjoy a day somewhere along the way. I'm thinking of Cuenca and Loja. That's a long, long ways to go. But the caveat is, if you arrive late at night, like many people if you arrive really late at night flying into Quito after dark or well after dark, there will be no bus service. So you would be best off to either grab a room near the airport, and there are hotels very close to the airport, or go up to Otavalo and catch you a room, spend a day or two there, or go into town to Quito. But if you stay at the airport, you can get up in the morning, and for $2, you can ride the bus to the bus terminal and then go to wherever place you want to go anywhere in the country. It's really cheap. I would guess that you could probably get anywhere for less than $10. I don't have exact numbers because they're so cheap. I really don't remember so much. But I don't think it cost me $10 to make it from Banos to Otavalo, which had a stop in Quito. And it is possible to get to Otavalo from the southern terminal, but those only run every couple of hours. But you kind of have to do the math and see how, where you are in that cycle. Is it worth waiting on the next bus or taking the shuttle to the northern terminal, which will burn up some time? Minor amount of money. It's not very expensive ticket. So with that said, I think that gives you an idea of things to come, and I will try to keep it entertaining along the way. The bus rides, quite entertaining. The buses in Ecuador, much like many of those in Peru, are a lot like riding on an airplane. Some of them even have nice bathrooms. Some of them have very nice bathrooms, and they have movies. If you don't want to hear those, bring earplugs or sound canceling headphones. And even better, when you go through small towns, traveling salesmen or not traveling salesmen will hop on the bus and he'll ride it from one city limit to the other, selling you all sorts of crazy wares. It's like a Ronco commercial for those of you who are alive during 70s and 80s. They sell you all sorts of questionable electronics, watches, and pills that'll cure anything. Yeah, make you muy fuerte. Anyways, highly entertaining, and they're the ones that are good at it are very entertaining and stoked. They could be motivational speakers if they weren't doing this gig. So it's a lot of fun, in my opinion. I really dig that stuff a lot. So I reckon I'm gonna make this a 15-minute segment. If you got questions about any topics covered tonight, or you think some is BS, by all means, comment. Say what you got to say. And if you got suggestions for things you'd like to know more about, or little angles or subtle points within that you would like fluffed out a little bit better, then do that as well. So in the meantime, peace out. Give this video a like, subscribe, and leave some comments.